Mr. Turner, this is merely a standard intake evaluation. Not your first, I understand.
Yeah, been through a few.
You were incarcerated here last year, and then transferred to Belrev, was it? The redactions in your file are quite extensive.
Could be above your pay grade, Doc.
Yes, well, what's intriguing here is that you elected to return rather than having your sentence commuted. Until recently, anyway, most prisoners wanted out of Blackgate. What's changed?
I still owe a debt to society.
Guilty conscience?
Matter of honor.
Given your history of mental illness...
Since when is playing puppet to the League of Assassins a mental illness?
I think the standard questionnaire is best, yes? Good. How are you coping with the transfer? Any changes in mood?
Yeah. Been getting progressively more agitated since talking to you.
Excellent. And have you been seeing things that other people don't? Or can't?
I see a lot of stuff other people miss, but not the way you mean.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how afraid are you right now?
Hold up. That's not in the questionnaire.
Very perceptive, Benjamin. Now consider this. Tiger has authorized me to recruit a few volunteers to help test a new psychiatric medication I'm developing. And you certainly seem like a prime candidate. Participation ensures a more comfortable cell in Arkham Ward, amongst other privileges.
Better men than you have messed with my head, Doc. Keep it up and I'll show you where they're buried.
Ooh, how vivid. Well, it is a standing offer, Mr. Turner, so let me know when you reconsider.
So, what was it you wanted to talk about?
Oh, well, I'm not trying to make any trouble for anyone here.
It's all right, Arnold. I'm not one of the guards, okay? I'm here to help.
I'm sorry. It's just that Dr. Crane's treatments seem to be giving me some side effects.
Dr. Crane's been treating you? I'm not seeing anything in the file about that.
Oh, well, he's testing his new formula on me and...
He's doing what?
I'm sorry.
No, Arnold. It's not your fault. Please, go on.
Well, it's mainly headaches and nightmares. From the start. Oh, and I forget things sometimes.
And what did that pompous... What did Dr. Crane say was the purpose of his tests?
To help me bring my shadow to the surface so I can confront my, violent impulses.
Look, Arnold, I don't know what he's up to, but if you want to face your shadow, there are safer ways than being a guinea pig for some untested chemical cocktail. The important thing is trying not to repress those darker thoughts.
But I don't like those thoughts.
And that's okay. Acknowledging them doesn't mean acting on them. Some people benefit from externalizing those aspects by projecting them onto an imaginary person they can talk to. It's a way to explore those things safely by having a conversation with yourself. Do you think you could do that?
Well, my cellmate Donegan, he has a puppet named Woody. It's fun to talk to sometimes.
There you go. Just imagine Woody has all those darker parts of your personality. Talk to him. Make friends with him. I promise that'll help you more than whatever Crane is dosing you with.
That's a really great idea, Dr. Quinzel. I'll ask Donegan if I can borrow him. Maybe he won't get all worked up. If I tell him it's for therapy.
Oh, jeez. Doc, take it easy. They beat me within an inch of my life. You're trying to finish the job.
You got me, Carmine. I'm the Rat King. Guess Batman's got some competition for world's greatest detective.
The last guy that talked to me like that ended up at the bottom of 3 different rivers. Allegedly.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't seem like anything's broken, just lacerations and some deep bruising. You'll heal over time, but you need a few stitches. I'll prescribe something for the pain. Just promise not to sell it.
Scouts on her. By the way, that picture there, cute kids. You adopt or something?
Close, but not quite. I helped Bruce and Harvey through some tough times.
Bruce and Harvey, huh? Holy shit, you mean Wayne and Dent?
On the nose. Now hold still.
So you're out. Tight with Harvey Dent, huh? You and me got doctor-patient confidentiality, right? Like if I told you I was planning to subtract a certain prosecutor from the equation as soon as I get out of here, you couldn't say a thing about it?
Quite the opposite, actually. I'd be required to report any threats of violence. Something a criminal mastermind should know, Carmine. And one more thing.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
You try something like that, you'd better not miss. Mr. Turner, I'm Dr. Tompkins. I've taken a look at your medical history and, well, there's quite a lot of it.
Been in a couple fights.
It says you sustained injuries during the riot a few months ago. Pretty minor compared to the other prisoners. Many of them suffered broken bones, concussions, and lacerations from metal claws of some kind. Your handiwork?
Penguin threw us in the cage. Said he'd shoot us if we didn't fight. I'll take a broken arm over a bullet any day.
Most would. Now, the more recent additions to your file have been redacted. Don't suppose you'd care to fill me in?
Nothing much else to tell. Boxing fracture on my left, scimitar stab in my right thigh. Barely missed the femoral. Got lucky.
Stabbed with a scimitar? In prison?
Secret Nazi science facility in northern Korak.
Mm-hmm. And what have you been up to for the past 2 months?
You wanted to see me, Dr. Quinzel?
Joe, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for acting like I had a choice. This being prison and whatnot.
Right. I just wanted to say, you've been doing really great in our group therapy sessions. Your openness and willingness to share has been an inspiration to many of the other prisoners. And I'm glad you seem to be getting so much out of it.
Thanks. But you make it easy. I've been inside a long time, and not everyone who runs these sessions seems to care like you do.
I appreciate that. I've always believed that there's good to be found in everyone, if you dig deep enough.
Sure. But you probably need an excavator to reach some of these guys.
Which is exactly why I asked you to come by. I'd like to get into some shadow work. Starting next session. Really dig deep into the parts of ourselves we usually repress. Jung tells us that many kinds of cognitive distortions are caused by repressing past trauma. A concept I think might really benefit the group.
I'm not sure what talking about Killer Croc's mommy issues is going to solve. But you're the doctor.
Humor is a classic deflection tactic, Joe. For as open as you've been, I know you're still holding back. I don't mean to pressure you or make you uncomfortable, but this type of therapy only works if you're willing to be vulnerable.
Listen, Doc, it's nothing personal. They're just parts of my past I don't like to talk about. Going over all that won't change what I did, or how I feel about it. I'm not like a lot of these guys. I know I'm exactly where I ought to be.
Whatever's causing you pain, I want to help. And I think it could help the others to see it too.
Appreciate it, Doc. But the others, they need your help a whole lot more than I do.
Okay, Otis. I have questions about some of the things you said in group today.
I am happy to answer, Doctor. Would you have eyes to see and ears to hear?
Right. You said you were, a mass murderer, but that's not in your file.
The blood of sin has stained me far beyond the word of man. Countless lives I have claimed in the name of the iniquitous Gotham City Department of Sanitation. I see their confused red eyes in my dreams, pleading for the mercy it was my duty to deny as their chittering death rattles echo through the sewers. I am a sinner, Dr. Quinzel, falling short of his whiskered glory.
Oh, you're talking about rats.
The true masters of our world, Doctor. The uncounted survivors thriving amongst those that despise and persecute them. Like Saul on the road to Damascus. When I saw myself as the oppressor, I wept from the guilt of it.
Okay, well, I understand the sentiment, but if you're talking about rodents, calling yourself a mass murderer is gonna give people the wrong impression.
I seek to speak only the truth, Doctor. Though life's path hasn't made that easy. I am no stranger to false prophets. Men like Black Mask have used my devotion to further their own ends.
And how is that any different from the Rat King, Otis?
The Rat King is no false prophet, Doctor. His word stands as the only remaining truth in the fallen land of the two-legged.
Of course. I just think it can be useful to examine our beliefs. You talk a lot about the Rat King, but what do you really know about him? Who is he?
You will know him soon enough, for we are all subjects in his kingdom. He will be born to the world as a prisoner from Blackgate, where his wrath will rebuild a new Gotham, one where rats will rule.
Okay.
Oh!
What is going on here?
Found this freak trying to dig through the walls again. Rusty Nail cut him when I dragged him out of his little rat nest. And, well, you know how clumsy these convicts are. Always falling downstairs and whatnot.
These people already need help, Captain. Feeding your ego with unnecessary beatings isn't making their lives, or mine, any better.
You gonna do something about it?
Maybe I will.
Whatever. It's your problem now.
That makes two of you. Otis Flanagan, right? Any blurred vision? How many fingers do you see?
3. Clarity of vision, both physical and spiritual, is one of our king's many gifts.
Uh-huh. Can you tell me the date today?
July the 2nd, year 1 of the Rat King's rule.
Close enough. Well, no concussion. That's the good news. That nasty cut is a different story. Do you know when you last had a tetanus booster?
I spend my life crawling through Gotham sewers, Doctor. Lo, by sanitation department decree, I have had all my shots.
Okay, Joe. Blood pressure's a little on the high side, but otherwise your labs look good. Must be all that clean living.
First time I heard that.
Any other complaints?
Just some reactions to Dr. Crane's treatment. Headaches. Can't remember some stuff. Nothing he didn't warn me about.
That's not on the chart. I'll follow up with him about it.
Sure. You know, Doc, you look familiar. Didn't you used to run the free clinic over in Park Row?
Still do. It's a tough neighborhood, but people need help. Politicians are too quick to write those folks off.
Ain't that the truth? When I lived there, it was everyone stealing each other's stuff. Then, stealing it back. Over and over. That photo there. That's you, and...
Harvey Dent? I'm surprised you recognize him.
Huh. Oh, yeah. He's on TV a lot now, right? So, you know him?
Back then, I ran a crisis center for kids. The boy next to Harvey is Bruce Wayne. Not too long after his parents were killed. Those two are like sons to me.
Right. Harvey Dent.
So you're the egghead they put in charge of rehabilitation, huh?
I take it you don't approve, Mr. Bolton?
Captain Bolton. And it's a giant waste of time, you ask me. Animals don't change, Crane.
Which would explain why your application for the job was rejected last year.
What are you talking about?
I've been reviewing Martin Joseph's files. He had some rather unflattering words for you. An unrepentant sadist, psychologically unfit and obsessed with aggressive punishment.
Martin Joseph ran this place like a damn vacation resort. Riots, insubordination, escapees. The man's a joke.
Is that why the GCPD rejected your application as well?
Think twice before trying to get in my head, Crane. You don't want to be on my bad side.
On the contrary, despite your contempt for my work, I actually admire yours.
What?
I appreciate the single-mindedness with which you pursue your goals. In the short time you've been here, you've demonstrated an enviable ability to strike fear into the prisoners. It's fascinating how terrified they are of you.
It's what they deserve.
Exactly. Make an example of one, and the rest fall in line. Simple, yet effective. The GCPD's loss is clearly our gain, Captain Bolton.
Huh. Maybe you and me got more in common than I thought. Run your department however you want. I'll handle mine. Oh, and Doc? Try and get me on tape without telling me again, and you'll find out firsthand how scary I can be.
Okay, notes on Otis Flanagan. Patient suffers from intense delusions and extreme guilt related to what...
Dr. Quinzel?
Mr. Dent, what brings you to Blackgate, Here to see how your tough-on-crime rhetoric affects real people?
I just figured I'd stop by, considering you've left 28 messages with my office this week.
You could have just called me back.
I understand you have concerns about Dr. Crane, but...
Concerns? That man's got a stack of ethical and professional violations taller than he is. He's been making deals with my patients, testing some kind of truth serum on them. I'm the resident psychiatrist here. These are my patients.
Well, then, this sounds like a matter you should forward to Tiger Security.
I've tried, but they never do anything, even when inmates go missing after his treatments. I know you two are friends, but someone needs to hold him accountable.
Oh, I wouldn't call us friends, Dr. Quinzel.
You think I haven't noticed you two? Just hanging out in his office?
Dr. Crane testifies as a mental health expert when I bring your inmates to trial. I'm sure you're aware of the court system tap dance we have to do.
I'm aware that he shouldn't be administering experimental drugs to my patients without departmental oversight.
And one of those was at my request. I couldn't risk the defendant in that case having a psychotic break during cross-examination. Look, I'm sorry you're having issues with a coworker, but helping you make friends at work comes second to saving this city, don't you think? So enough of the frivolous complaints, please. Have a good day, Dr. Quinzel.
Good morning, Jay.
Well, hello, nurse. Wait, you're not Dr. Crane.
What? Oh, it's me, Dr. Quinzel.
What a lovely name. I don't believe we've met.
Oh, we're doing this again, huh? Okay. Hello, sir. I'm Dr. Harleen Quinzel, your new therapist.
Well, you know what they say. You never forget your first time.
Nice to see that a couple of months in Blackgate hasn't hurt your sense of humor.
It's not so bad. Like a mediocre restaurant on the moon. Although, the company's better. Your new boss can be a real hoot, too.
Who, Crane? Sure. If your idea of a good time is seeing how far someone can stuff their head up their own ass.
Well, My entertainment options are a little limited down here, Toots.
Anyway, you get me today instead, because he's out with a real bad tummy ache. It's a real shame no one bothered to tell him about the meatloaf.
Why, Holly, I do believe I may be starting to rub off on you.
Or maybe it's the other way around. Which reminds me, I brought another can of that spray cheese you like. Just make sure the guards don't see it.
You take such good care of me.
Stop, silly. It just doesn't make sense why they keep you locked up down here for so long. It's been months. And you've been on your best behavior.
Exactly. It's as if you can't start a riot, kill a bunch of guards, flood a few cell blocks with poison gas, and burn down the old admin building anymore. Well, without being treated like a common criminal.
Yeah, well, I never liked that building anyway.
Please, have a seat, Arnold. Do you know why you're here today?
No. No, sir.
The public defender requested a psychological evaluation to determine if you're competent to stand trial.
Oh!
Do you understand what you're being accused of?
I killed a guy.
That's correct.
But it wasn't my fault. He walked into my knife.
27 times.
He was very determined.
Clearly, there's a part of you that craves violence. You keep it hidden. In psychology, we call this the shadow. And yours seems to be very dark indeed.
Like this bunny, you mean? I can also do a dog.
Put your hands down, Arnold. It's just a metaphor. Now, a favorable evaluation might be in the cards if you can do a little something for me. I'm recruiting volunteers to assist with the new treatment I'm testing. A compound that draws the shadow out, brings it to the surface so it can be confronted.
Yes. Of course, Doctor. Anything you say.
Very good, Arnold. I'll have the guards escort you to my lab this evening.
Nice office, Doc. If it's mine, a shame.
Unlike City Hall, Tiger makes the working conditions of its senior staff a priority. How can I help you, Mr. Dent?
Harvey is just fine. I'm looking for a go-to medical expert for trial. Competency evals, mental fitness testimonies, that sort of thing. Any interest?
Of course. I would be honored.
Well, that's good to hear. You know, your predecessor, Strange, always seemed like he'd rather be anywhere else.
Well, I'm at home here in Blackgate. It provides an opportunity to test out some exciting new therapies. You promised to crush crime within a year. I aim to do the same with recidivism.
Must be some therapy.
Indeed. Have you ever sought treatment, Mr. Dent?
Harvey. And no, not since I was a kid. Went through a rough patch, but since then, smooth sailing.
That was certainly a novel approach to cross-examination.
I know, Doc. I lost it. You should have seen the police photos. This bastard didn't just beat his kid, he starved him. Kept him locked in a closet for 6 months. 8 years old. Fighting with the rats over scraps of food. When the cops finally freed him, his kidneys had failed and his heart was scarred by infection.
My goodness. Harrowing stuff.
And his dad has the nerve to take the stand and tell the court his kid deserted. Piece of shit's lucky I only took a couple of swings at him. Besides, I might have just torched my whole career.
Oh, I doubt that. You're a hero in the papers. Two-fisted DA, Deck's deadbeat dad. The public's behind you on this.
My own dad's to blame for my short fuse. But I might lose my temper like that again.
Your father. I'd like to hear more about him.
You really think this stuff will help?
Early trials are quite promising. Now, hold this. Hold it. There you go. And take 3 deep breaths. Good. I want you to consider that your recent outbursts may be stress-induced. Building a case against Carmine Falcone clearly had you burning the candle at both ends.
Well, tell that to the press. All I hear about is how the Batman brought down the Roman Empire. We worked together, you know. Me, him, Gordon, too. I'm starting to lose my cool again.
No. That's good. Good. We've already touched on how much you've been repressing. The more you try to contain your shadow, the more that aspect of your psyche stagnates and festers. We need to bring it to light.
Drag it out of the darkness. That's what I've been trying to do with this whole city. Too many trials. Too many appeals. Better we let fate judge. 50-50. Like flipping a coin. Better odds than my old man gave me. No, it's, getting worse. Headaches, mostly.
That's only a function of your conscious mind giving way to your shadow self. As it rises to the surface, your awareness becomes fuzzy, in a neurological sense, as you grapple with the headache.
That's not it. It's never been this bad. Gilda's scared. And I am too.
You fear becoming your father. You fear you'll assume his worst traits as you get older. Please, sit. Have a sip of water. Good. Listen, things always feel more intense just before the real healing begins. You are making remarkable progress.
We are making remarkable progress.
Of course, Mr. Dent. This is good for both of us.
Doctor, I want to stop the treatments.
But why?
Why? What the hell happened to your lab rat this morning?
It's the unfortunate reality of medical testing that, on occasion, we have to put an animal through some measure of discomfort in order to...
The shit you got me breathing burned its fur off. Melted its skin.
Mr. Dent, the individual chemicals in this solution are heavily corrosive, but when properly diluted, they are inert and stable.
Inert and stable. I don't know.
Harvey, I've been reviewing our recorded sessions, and I'm confident you're on the cusp of a major breakthrough. Trust the process. If not for yourself, then do it for Gilda. Doesn't she deserve a healthier, happier husband?
Crane, if my symptoms don't resolve soon, I am out.
Understood. You're making the right choice. I'll prepare the dose. No cream, no sugar, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Crane. But you didn't bring me in here for coffee.
Astute, as always. Dr. Quinzel said you're responding remarkably well to her half-baked notion of shadow therapy. However, she did note your reticence when it comes to sharing certain aspects of your past.
Yeah, sure. There's some stuff I figure is nobody's business but mine. And she's always been respectful of boundaries.
Is that what you really think?
What do you mean?
Just wondering how you'd respond to treatment from a doctor who actually knows what they're doing. Case in point, I've been developing a new treatment that can bring the shadow to the surface. It dredges up the darkest, hidden parts of the self so they can be faced. Aggressive, but effective.
I I appreciate the offer, but I'll pass. Doesn't sound like my kind of thing.
I thought you might take some convincing. That's why I put some in your coffee.
What? Are you... Oh, God.
Now, tell me, Joe, what are you so afraid of?
No. Don't want it. You can't make me talk about stuff I did. 20 years is a long time.
What did you do, Joe?
Just needed money. Didn't mean to hurt anybody. But you get desperate. So, when I saw those two Richies leaving the theater, and the lady's necklace, you could tell it was worth something.
And then?
I recognized them from the papers, from TV. Not normal people. Billionaires. Wrath of God, wealthy. And they both got a good look at me. He should have let me take the necklace, but it broke. Pearls on the pavement. And I shot him. Her too. Because how could she forget my face?
The Waynes? You murdered the Waynes?
Right after, I noticed the kid there. God. He looked at me like I'll never forget. And I just didn't have it in me. I ran. Left him there in that alley. Didn't get the necklace. Didn't even get their wallets. Only thing I stole was some rich kid's parents.
You were never caught.
Got picked up for knocking over a gas station. Nobody else ever knew I was the guy that did it. Just the kid. But those eyes, in my dreams every night, burning with wrath. I took the life sentence. Safer on the inside. He can never know it was me. Nobody can. You have no idea what someone that rich is capable of. And I do. I've had 2 decades